In this video, I'll be showing some developments which connects a lot of factors from the past and how it is affecting the recent developments, the way it is playing out, and how it will be reflecting on the price of XRP and what we can expect in the near future, and how the underlying factors of XRP supply and sales are driving the change. And this is all happening when the central banks and governments are moving towards safe haven assets and what it implies. Then finally, many viewers had a doubt why I was pointing towards 0.03 or 0.08 area, but I thought I was explaining that so easily. Many didn't actually understood that, so I'll actually explain that. If you see value in the video, please do hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification icon to get notified about the future videos. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. On April the 14th, China, this article actually came out. China is actually moving closer to regulate and ignite the blockchain technology in the country. And it is responsible to understand that they are highlighting Baidu and Tencent. These are actually internet and technology-based service companies which are in the list. Now, why technology and internet-based companies are important when you come into blockchain and its regulation? While talking about technology companies and changes in the new financial system, we see this one on 13th April, just a day before the first one. And here, Ms. Botten from Santander is actually into IMF's advisory board. This is much important than we actually think, because when we move ahead, we get this, keeping this in mind, that IMF had stated the name of Ripple with respect to remittance and overall payments. This should be actually kept in mind, because back in 2016, this article came up showing blockchain technology is going to be used by Santander to send payments. Now, yes, I agree, they were actually showing the technology behind Bitcoin, because back then it was just known in that manner. Now, when we actually move forward in 2018, this directly came from Ms. Botten. So you have to understand that it takes time for financial systems to change. It was in 2016 they were entering there, and the announcement came in 2018. And in 2019, this interview of Ms. Botten surfaced. And there are a lot of key things in this long interview, this is 23 minutes long. But when you actually listen to certain areas, say 5 seconds, 10 seconds, intermediately, which I'll actually take you through, you get a lot of information.
What's your number one priority right now?
Profitable growth and my people, the team.
You're also big on climate change, aren't you?
That's right, yes. I actually traveled to Greenland this summer, and basically to try and show and see also for myself what's happening to the world, and it's scary.
So they are into climate change, and it is one of the key target. So, we can rule out any energy consuming technology from there and then. So that is so clear.
We have been named the most sustainable bank in the world, and this was one of the criteria.
That is again adding to the initial idea of sustainability, and that's becoming more important. Now, the question related to how the price reflects to these fundamentals on the financial market or any other market, you have to actually listen to this.
Over that period of time, over 5 years, the shares are down about 50%. And I know you're painfully aware of that.
And for that, she replies or responds like this.
Let me just say that we're not happy with the share price, that's clear. We deserve better.
So the price can be much lower than what it deserves to be. And then when we actually move on to the video, we get this.
Is that complaining, if you will, or acknowledging that the market doesn't recognize what it should be recognizing?
So again, that reflects back to the price, right? Market doesn't recognize which it should be recognizing in the financial sector at least. Now, in her response to that, and while we continue on the interview, we get this.
In terms of technology investment, we have committed 20 billion for the next few years. And we're building Santander Global Platform. And this is, in a way, a global financial services bank with a a very strong payments business at the core. Let me just give you one example. Open Bank. It's the largest digital bank in Europe by number of deposits. We're launching Germany, Holland, and Portugal as we speak. And we're doing that with the same software. So single software developed by Santander in open digital services for all the countries running on the cloud. So our global expansion will come through the digital platform. We do not need to buy physical assets.
So investment in technology and a huge importance on payments, global payments, and open bank. That means an open banking. Now remember the concept of open bank because we have recent developments and articles coming in for that. Now then we move on to the next item which she stated. The global expansion is coming through digital platform. You don't need physical assets. That's actually a perfect idea coming from an important individual. You don't need physical assets. A global expansion is coming through a digital platform, an infrastructure which is underlying for everything.
Brazil and Mexico this year, 2020, will have more people than the United States. However, let me give you an example, mortgages. You know how many people in Brazil own a home?
I don't.
2% of the population. What's important is that interest rates are coming down. Today, Santander Brazil is writing about $350 million worth of mortgages, or at 7.5%. Mexico, same thing.
So the nations where Ripple is going in to the core markets, it's like Brazil and Mexico, and they are actually pumping into that with this new concept of banking. So that is really important to look into, because the asset, they are not looking at physical asset, instead they are looking at digital payments platform. Global expansion through digital platforms. They are looking at something else, digital, in a digital world.
It punches below its weight.
Totally.
Why?
Yes. Well, because we spent the last 5 years basically fixing the legacy issues. And the reason I was in Dallas and I've joined the US board only 1 month ago is because we're now ready to grow.
So they were fixing many legacy issues. That was also something to be noted. And now they are ready to grow. So that is a bold and strong statement, again coming from such an individual, which is kind of self-explanatory.
Actually announcing next week a very interesting remittances. So at the other end of the spectrum, there is millions of Mexicans that are sending, I think, 36 billion every year from the US to Mexico. We're launching a fast, competitive remittances program, initially just from the Santander branches to any bank in Mexico. So
that leads to this, right? The remittance. Ultimately the payments remittance area. Now she is actually highlighting 36 billion just to one country, towards Mexico, and we know that how the volume of XRP to the Mexican corridor is skyrocketing. Now it's not only that corridor, we are now getting Philippines and Australian dollar corridors, right? So okay, let's move on.
I think we can grow organically. As I have said, we have not been able to launch a new product for 5 years from the bank. So that tells you how much potential there is. We are launching OnePayFX, which is a blockchain-based retail cross-border payment with Ripple, by the way, a US company. That's coming to the US. We're going to do open bank.
So again, she's mentioning blockchain technology, Ripple the company, and open banking. So that started talking to my mind, like asking many questions. Is there anything between that?
Is that still a problem?
I don't complain. I just put the facts on the table. And so my question to you is, what is a bank? What is a bank? Does a bank just take deposits and make loans? Of course. But we do payments. We have always, and loyal customers, if I ask you, Eric, who is your bank? You're going to have one bank in your head, even though you might have 5 accounts. Am I correct?
That's true.
Right. So you're like 99% of Americans and most people around the planet. And so
that is highlighting the importance of payments from the side of bankers. Bankers are preparing to start taking back their share of payments from the payment providers. So they need the help of some technology, and they are actually adopting to that technology right now.
And they do that too?
We've been doing that. We're 100% in favor of innovation. We've partnered with a company called Cabbage, Ripple, many American companies. So what we're doing is we want to take these companies and services. When we don't approve a loan, we pass it on to, in this case, Cabbage. Ripple is at the base of our OnePayFX blockchain base. So this is exactly the point. We need everybody else to be open. So my question to you, what is a critical infrastructure in the digital age?
And it leads to the new infrastructure and the digital wallets. So for them, it is clear. Say, you have a digital wallet with the bank, and then you have to do remittance or payments. If they are offering it with little fees, then why would you have to go to payment companies? And at that same time, banking infrastructure is changing. So they are actually concentrating into that. And now this one shows the open banking concept, which we are actually talking about, the APIs, fintech, and they're actually talking about leveraging this technology. In our previous video, we actually talked about the API and Ripple becoming the standard. I clearly showed you how that works. So moving on to the next one here, this is actually showing an information from David Shaw's previously. He's actually arguing that as the price goes higher, the better is for the infrastructure and the scalability in terms of coverage of monetary value. Now, why is that so important? Because now everyone is actually moving in and checking about payments and API for cross-border remittance. Now, this is actually from Cambridge. Now, when moving on, we actually get this, and really shout out to Kevin. He actually highlighted this, that 8.3 billion left out of the circulation. Now, when we actually look at the report from Ripple, this one is actually came previously from Ripple. So it's showing that not OTC, or there is nothing to do with the burn rate alone, because it can't do anything like that. So someone is actually buying and accumulating the current circulating supply and moving that to hard storage or cold storage. They are not actually using it in the current supply. And at the same time, governments are actually hoarding gold. So that raises another question: gold standard or a parallel financial infrastructure? We don't know. But when we actually look at the price, previously when I pointed my fingers towards this area, say 0.03 to 0.06, many were actually asking why. So the definition here is, if you actually look at the previous price fluctuations, most of the investors look at this like how investors actually reacted to certain price levels. So if you actually look, for me, I see like this. Say, for example, currently we are holding on to the support level, but if you actually draw this trend line from here to here, you can actually clearly see that the resistance is actually there and the price is being pushed lower. So if we are to come back down this based on the target of this one, say you measure the movement from here and put it here, you kind of get around 0.08. But if the price is actually moving towards 0.08, the support level there is kind of less. We need to move until somewhere around 0.01 to get a higher level of support. Now, I'm not directly saying it may directly go close there and consolidate there. Chances are there, like the price can actually at least move into this range or at least wick down here. So you can actually see the resistance level here. We only had 2 here. When we are coming, we had now other levels, so that's kind of getting a bit more supportive. But as we go down, we only have certain support level around here, 0.01, 0.02 area. If you see value in the video, please do hit the like, subscribe and the bell notification icon to get notified about the future videos. Help the channel grow. Reach out to more of our community members.